7 years old.
Whoa.
Colonel Stern, and got to hold his hand, you know, and really quite clear, still-headed. Like, I mean, he, like, shockingly, when he spoke to me, I was like, oh my gosh. But you could feel that generation, that you could feel that what he had been through. And he was actually at the Battle of the Bulge.
Whoa.
And you're like, oh, and then to have him tell us, like, we got it right. And that's what it, like, you know, like, brought me to tears. I was kind of like, I was shook. So moments like that, it comes, you know, it's like, wow, this is a great responsibility to tell this story.
I can imagine having a conversation with a 170-year-old guy who's been through war, and the war was what? How many years ago?
1942.
What is that? How many years ago was that?
So he would have been 20. Yeah. So 84. Right, he would have been like
84.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
84
exactly.
years ago.
Yep.
And it's still the most probably impactful thing that ever happened in his life. Imagine that. Imagine you're 107 years old and your life is kind of defined by something that happened 84 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild what they went through. I mean, wild. I mean, imagine. I mean, if they're like, "Hey, pack up, Joe, Scott." Right. Like, we're going to wherever it is. Like, I don't know, wherever we're going right now, and we're gonna have to kill people.
And imagine the information you're getting. What are you getting? Like newspaper articles and a radio broadcast?
Yeah.
What do you read?
This is him, the guy you met.
A battalion commander during World War II. Stern. His name was Senator Radcliffe. What is his name? Herbert Irving Stern. That's his name. So it says a battalion commander during World War II. Stern was awarded the Silver Star Medal during the Battle of the Bulge for his actions. In April 1945, while driving through Germany, Stern and his men discovered a concentration camp with 3,000 Jewish women. They liberated the camp, providing immediate relief to the prisoners, and destroyed the facility. Wow.
Isn't that amazing? Like, we have to celebrate these people, you know? Like,
can you imagine you're overseas, you're a kid, it's 1945, and you liberate a camp of 3,000 Jewish women that are being imprisoned.
Yeah, it gives me chills just thinking about it.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, you've been like, 35 years old, 34 years old.
You imagine we could see what that guy's seen?
I mean, I don't know if we want to. I mean, that would change your whole world, like, look on the world, man. I mean,
but you have to think that way, right? When you're playing these guys, you have to almost put yourself in their head. How hard is that? Like, what is that like?
It comes with, like I said, it comes with a cost. You go through an emotional journey. You pay a price. You have to lend your own emotion and own grief, whatever that is in your life, and you have to kind of relive some of that. And it's part of, you know, going through what it would have been like to see some of these atrocities, to see what it's like to lose your best friend right beside you, to lose people that are, you know, to see a concentration camp full of women that are, you know, probably skin and bones. And like, it's just, you know, it makes me so grateful for what we have and where we're at.
It's the human's capacity for evil. When you're faced with it like that, it's so disturbing that people are capable of doing things like that, and that they still are. That they're still, I mean, to this day, right now, somewhere in the world, there's human beings committing atrocities and killing people.
I know. It's it's brutal. It's brutal to think how savage we can become. Like, it's crazy because, like, you think about it, it's like, we're not far off. You take water away for 72 hours and we're dead.
Yeah.
So how quickly do we turn savage fighting each other if we don't have basic needs?
Oh yeah, the civilization's a very thin veneer.
Yeah.
It's very thin, and it's very vulnerable. And I think most people are delusional, and they're very well fed and rested, and they don't have any idea how precarious this thing that we exist in is. And I think when I would imagine when you're doing a World War II film or something like that, like, you're forced to realize, you're forced to encounter that reality of the human condition. That sometimes, I mean, throughout history, that's kind of the defining moments of our past. when you think about the history of the world, really you're talking about the history of war. You're talking about the history of war and conquests, invasions and conquests. It's like the most of what we talk about when we talk about history. You know, we talk about the various wars and what happened, and what was the result, and who was the king, and who did this.
What was it over?
Yeah.
Greed, resources. This war is really, I think why it's so fascinating, why World War II is still so fascinating, is because there is no ambiguity between right and wrong in that war, really.
Right.
Like, what they were doing in Nazi Germany was terrifying. You know, they were exterminating innocent people. And we came together as a world, you know, a coalition, and fought that evil. And that is very different than a war like Vietnam, where we're like, why are we here? Or,
right.
you know, you're questioning what is this just a politically motivated thing? No, this was to save people.
Yeah.
And that's very different.
Yeah, we think of that as our last great war. That is the World War II, in most people's eyes, is the last just war.
Yeah.
You know, we think it's like that's the one that needed to be done. Because it wasn't just evil people, it was evil people on meth, which is really crazy. I didn't know that until like a decade or two ago.
Yeah.
That they were all on meth. And then we had Norman Ohl. He wrote...
Blitzed?
how do I say his last name? Oler.
Yeah.
Oler. He wrote this book, Blitzed, and it's all about the Blitzkrieg when they went through Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Poland in like 3 days.
Yep.
And it was all meth.
Oh,
They just gave them meth.
Yeah, that was in the beginning of the war,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
They had 35 million doses of meth.
It's nuts, man. That is nuts.
And they gave the guys at the front of the lines the most meth. The guys in the tanks, like, you guys get the most meth. They wanted them just methed up.
Cracked up.
Just driving for 3 days, killing everybody they see. And then when they ran into the people in France, they were all drinking wine. So, like, they're all chilling and they just got fucked up, man.
Yep.
It's not that long ago. And that's what's really scary.
It is. It's super scary. Also, what was crazy about this movie, and you know, I learn something new every time I do a war movie. I didn't realize there were German Americans living in America, like had a life here. And when the war kicked off, there was a lot of them that went back to Germany and fought for Germany.
Whoa.
Can you imagine that?
How many?
Like thousands.
Whoa. I didn't know
went
that.
back and, like, you know, and then they were spies, and a lot of them spoke English. A lot of had the American culture, you know, they understood, and they became like spies. And it was like, can you imagine doing that?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Imagine giving up on America to go back to fight for Germany. What? Like, hey, settle
Wait,
down.
Hold on. Hold the phone.
Don't you know this spot is better? You should be fighting for this, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people that are willing to do that, that's a different kind of brainwashing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it makes me think about some of the brainwashing we have nowadays. Like, and you kind of think like, oh, like, you know, there's a lot of conspiracy theory stuff, and I'm not a lot, but I do see, and we were talking about it today, it's like, how strong is the government to like brainwash, you know, the MK Ultra stuff, like the stuff where it's like you get like a patsy or get someone to do something that you want them to do, kill somebody, whatever.
Yeah.
That's like really terrifying.
Yeah,
you
it's
think
real,
you're your
too.
own thoughts and emotions, but
Also, if you find someone who's vulnerable, you can coax them slowly but surely into becoming a different person. You give them a purpose. You give them a direction.
Yep.
You can, I mean, they've done it before. It's not, they didn't stop doing it in the 1960s. That guy who tried to shoot Trump, he was probably a product of that.
yeah.
If I had to guess, by some organization. I'm not saying it's the American intelligence agencies, but someone talked that young kid into getting on that roof and trying to shoot Trump. Someone, you know, someone gave him direction. Someone who just his background is too squeaky clean after it's over. They professionally scrubbed his apartment. His apartment was professionally scrubbed. There was no silverware in his apartment when they went to examine it. All of his hard drives were gone. All of his computers were gone. He had more than one cell phone, which is very odd for a 20-year-old kid, and had no social media profile. The whole thing was fucked.
Can you explain to me the theories going on with like the Charlie Kirk of it all? Because I know I've heard a lot of like stuff, and a lot of smart people that I like respect are like, there's something going on with that we don't know the full.
Well, there's something going on
extent.
with the guy being able to climb on top of that roof with a gun, dismantle it, put it back together again, and then dismantle it again and put it back together again. Like, the whole thing makes no sense. They think they have footage of him in a backpack. But a backpack doesn't carry a gun. And so the excuse was, oh, he dismantled the gun, then reconnected it. Well, that doesn't fly. So the problem with that is anybody who knows anything about guns knows that you take a scope off a gun, you take the barrel off the gun, you take the stock off the gun, you got to put it all back together again. You might not be on anymore. So you're going to have to sight that gun in, right? And if you sight that gun in, you're going to want to have targets to practice on. You're not just going to take a 140-yard shot or whatever it was where he shot Charlie Kirk not knowing if your sight is on, because I was hunting once and I fell with my rifle, and we went back to the range to test it. And it was off so when you're shooting on a block, so you're not moving at all you're doing is pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
So it's just to make sure that the gun is on. It was off by 6 inches at 100 yards just by moving from a fall, and so you have to check that, and then you have to sight the gun back in. You just take the scope off and then you put it back on and screw it back together again. There's no guarantee that thing's going to be accurate. And this kid's not like a marksman. It's not like he's got a ton of experience shooting people.